So I had this bright idea. I think this is what the internet needs. What, more specifically, the fitness internet needs. And that's a full day of eating. Along with that, we will also have a shoulder and arm day as well. So there will be some actual live action. But just to give you guys, I think the way I'm going to try to spin this to you guys, because clearly that isn't what the internet needs, is how I organize my eating so that I can get the most bang for my buck, not just in regards to caloric intake, trying to have a reasonably balanced diet with the majority of the foods being good for you foods, but also just how I do it, especially at this point where being in the high 180s and I'm in a caloric surplus, so this is all within the confines of a caloric surplus, how I get it done. All right, so quite often the issue is trying to make everything, trying to make space for everything. From a mechanical standpoint, right now it can be quite difficult to get the amount of food I need in. So let's go over the breakfast scenario. So usually I will wait a few hours simply because I don't wake up hungry. But what does end up happening is that, I will actually, to bring it back, my pre-bed meal tends to be a little bit smaller, and this is simply so that I am able to give the digestive tract a bit of a break. I also sleep better, so my dinner will be bigger, as you guys will see later on, and then pre-bed I usually just have a scoop of protein and we're good. And then all that time goes by, and then I try to extend that fasting period just a little bit. Actually, for some of you might be unreasonable, but it's about 3 hours. And what ends up happening from the point that I wake up, what ends up happening is that I end up building up quite the appetite. So this is what breakfast looks like. So about half a container of this Trader Joe's pineapple juice, super easy to digest for me. Actually helps me out with, I guess, this portion of the breakfast. It's just, you take a bite out of this, you drink this, and it just kind of helps it disintegrate in your mouth. Each one of these bagels, they're a little bit bigger than your average bagel, is about, focus, about 60 grams of carbs. Trust me on it. There we go. So 60 grams of carbs. We have about about 3 servings of the orange juice, so that ends up being 90 grams of carbs. So off to a pretty big start. Eventually, so this is 2 cups of the pineapple juice. Excuse my verbal typo, I said orange juice. I'll go ahead and I'll mix in a scoop and a half of, this is the protein I'm currently rocking, and about half of this bar, which ends up being, here we go, here are the figures on that. So I'd say a pretty heavy meal in regards to calories, but at this point I've been up for about 3 hours, so I'm decently hungry. Been empty for a while, so my digestive tract just plows through it. So that is how we kick this off. I will go ahead and do my job, and then I'll have you guys back in about 3-ish hours when we will have our next feeding. So first meal was at about 11, right before 11. It's about to be 3 p.m. and this is one more chance to have a nice feeding before I have my pre-workout meal, because it does make a difference. If I charge up the food pretty nicely before I go train, it will make a difference. So this meal, pretty simple. leftover whole wheat pasta from yesterday, or pasta that was cooked in bulk. Wait it out for you guys. It does have some turkey, but I think yesterday, when it was just made, I was probably picking through it in a strategic way. So there isn't a whole lot of, well, there's plenty of protein, just given the fact that it's whole wheat and just how much we have there. So there's a little something there, but this is, of course, mostly to get the calories via some, to me, super easy to eat carbs. Weighed it out to be 450 grams of cooked pasta, frozen wild blueberries, 350 grams is what the bag says. There's a scoop of whey, just kind of mixed in there. Weird, but easy to get down. This is meal 2. So meal 2, 3 p.m. I'll have one more between 4:45 to 5 p.m. and then I end up training. Usually my start time is 6:30 in the evening. So yeah, gonna put this down so that I have enough space to actually have my meal, and or rather feel light on my feet by the time it gets to be training time. All right, back home, got it done. We found what we wanted. There goes about 6.5 ounces of salmon. Yeah, just like that. One thing I miss about California is just that is the quality of the sushi. They didn't have white rice, so we're doing good old stereotypical basmati brown rice, which it's just weird, man. But it'll get the job done. Obviously, this will be smothered in soy sauce in a second here. And then to wash it all down, hey, look, nice little Italian soda pomegranate. So hey, y'all can do the math for this, but this is about 77 grams of carbs. So yeah, no, pancreas gonna go hard on this one. But this one more meal, which I think, given how today has fallen, it's gonna have to be a little bigger than I'd like, but we'll figure that out. I'm gonna figure this out now. All right, and because I know you guys are honest with me, that's how we are on YouTube, I'm gonna get called out on one specific fact, and that's that there was no veggies today. So I want to address this. I don't want to address it, I need to address it, right? And that's how it is sometimes. I'd say for sure over the course of the week I get about 3 to 4 like higher veggie days, and actually when I do eat out, that's how I go about it. I get myself a nice calorically dense appetizer, and then I'll get whatever salad is there, because hey, usually they have a good variety of veggies, things that I don't always have on hand. So off season, that's how we do it. Like, it makes no sense, but quite often we'll get a veggie, a salad. But today was one of those days where, just from a mechanical standpoint, kind of tells you that, hey, I've had a few fat loss phases, but I haven't dieted since 2017, not into proper shape anyways. So man, yeah, it's just hard to get it all in sometimes. So usually these are big. So see, I have some, I just didn't use them today. Spinach is big as well. Kale also. Sometimes we make smoothies out of kale or juices. So yeah, today not a veggie day. We're prepping. It's a little different because we're chronically under eating. So we have those about 7 days a week when we really are hungry, for both nutritional reasons and because you just need a little something there. So today we're going to finish it off with 2 more of these bagels, and then this. So this is probably the one thing that is a constant. It's just much easier for me. I don't have to stop what I'm doing. I can just just work and drink. But everything else just rotates on a like bi-weekly basis. But I'm gonna have 2 of those bagels, 2 scoops of whey, 1 scoop of whey, and that's it. So that is what a typical day looks like. Questions, comments, concerns, place them down there. Let's get to some training, because that's the one part about the off season that never gets old and is a lot of fun. The eating, yeah, right. Yeah, let's roll with it. And away we go. Did have a protein shake right before this, just because, hey, it was a feeding window in regards to protein. So everything you saw is what I ate, plus a scoop of protein pre-training. Okay, so we were doing a 15 to 25 rep range, high rep pumpy block. And I feel good now in terms of just structurally speaking, ready to take on a more traditional, practical approach in regards to rep ranges. It was a little bit weird to go heavy, since with these, I swear to you, I was doing like 40, 45 pound dumbbells. So this is 75. We're starting off the gates a bit conservative, but again, just playing it safe. And the loads should come to me pretty rapidly. We are using a top set with a lot of the compounds where we build up to our heaviest set, and then we back off like, anywhere between 7 to 12% depending on the exercise. And basically whatever I did on that first set in regards to reps, I'd follow up with my back off sets. So 75 pound dumbbells in the 70. As you can see, this is how I overhead press. So it's not as vertical as a lot of you guys. My arms are a little bit more in front here, but this aids me in regards to something I personally have going on with my shoulders. It just feels more natural. It doesn't feel like things are crowding. So see, AC joint here, pretty smooth. AC joint here, there we go, a little bump right there. I don't want surgery, man. So I've been over the years, I've kind of figured out what exercises I can do without bothering the area. And honestly, this is probably the best it's felt like in a decade, to be quite honest. We are starting conservative, like I said, coming off that high rep block. Just a little bit rusty when it comes to like firing away more motor units at once. But also it's a good chance to clean up my form, and especially when it comes to things like arms, where, I mean, think about it this way, right? It's like when you're bench pressing and like if your spotter touches the bar, it's like, how much that helps. When it comes to arm training, these aren't very big muscles, man. And I think sometimes we overload them, and we're getting a little bit more help from everything else, whether it's an ankle, knee, torso, shoulder. So I'm trying to keep this as Jeff Alberts as possible, so that I only have to use as much volume as is required in order to progress. Picking off something Eric said a while back, every unit of volume is an added unit of risk, right? So again, I think it's a worthwhile investment to be able to get the most out of the amount that you are doing. Like, do an inventory check that way, as opposed to like, hey, let's just add more. When in reality, it's like you can go back and do a quality control check. So this is what we're doing is, again, we're going to get stronger anyways. 8 to 12 reps on the lateral raise, which is quite heavy. 4 sets on everything right now. Everything you see here is my shoulder and arm day. I am going all the way down on my lateral raise. I do that when it's heavier. The medial delt really only is taking on the brunt of the action once you get to about 30 degrees. But in this case, I am okay with getting just a little bit help from other structures in my shoulder area, because 8 to 12 is pretty heavy when it comes to that movement especially, right? I will clean these up, because like I said, when it comes to especially your upper limbs, like I'm getting a little bit of spinal erector help with that little twist you see there. So yeah, did this, followed it up with some some rear delts, some long head tricep. I haven't been able to do these in a while because, again, my elbows were kind of trash for like most of 2020, to be quite honest. So we're experimenting with these again. Elbows could be about 1 inch closer towards my head. But again, knee movement. Why it's so important to film sometimes. And after this, rear delt, which I got that one from my buddy Chasm, who's in regards to exercise selection, especially with someone like me who did not so many of the smart things in their 20s. It's been nice to get help from him in regards to exercise selection and things that right away I could feel the impact in regards to like how well they were training the area I was targeting, and just I feel less beat up. So shout outs to my homie there and the whole N1 crew. But yeah, man, this is my full shoulder arm day. Beginning of the week, this is when I'm freshest.
I always have a rest day the day prior. And I've put on about 1/4 of an inch in my arm since I started doing this, I think back in March, with not a whole lot of weight gain. So I'm very happy with the results so far. Let's see if we can get another 1/4 of an inch. That was my full day of eating. That is what it looks like, more or less. Again, foods rotate about every 2 weeks because I'm human, I get bored. I'm really full right now, but we got 4 or 5 more pounds to gain before this year's over. Yeah, that is it, guys. I'm gonna ship this out. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. I will lift 100 pounds.
Let's see it.
100 pounds. Hey, you want to see me lift 100 pounds?
Yeah.
100 pounds.
See it.
100 pounds.
100.
You didn't just hear that. Hey, I'm about to lift 100 pounds. That's right. You hate me, bro. Why you hate me? I'm about to lift 100 pounds.
Is 100 pounds not enough for you?
100. You didn't just hear that. 100 pounds. You got it. 100. All right. They believe in you. All right, let's go.
Good friends.
With ease, too. Yeah.
I do good. 100 pounds.
I said to Mama, too.
100 pounds. 10 times. All natural. Believe in yourself.
Who is he?
On that.